Hello, church. This is your missions catalyzer, John Bowers, and I want to introduce to you the Church Visitor Reboot. What is it? Well, on the surface of things, it's a project of the Classis Ministry Committee and myself. But really, church visiting itself has been long a part of what it meant to be a Christian Reformed church. Our church order says in Article 42 that the classis shall be responsible for appointing persons to provide counsel to churches and to pastors. The classis shall appoint church visitors to visit each church in classis on a yearly basis. But the truth is, in our classis and elsewhere across the denomination, the practice has been in a decline. Locally, it's not really been happening at all. But historically, when church visiting did happen, it would often feel mechanical in the sense of checking off boxes or filling in forms. It would be superficial and that often maybe wouldn't go that deep into what it means to be church. And then for that reason, it would feel impersonal and temporary in the sense that you might have a church visit one year, but what was the follow-up? What was sort of the next step? And often when church visiting again did happen, it would be at negative moments when the church or when the leadership was struggling. For all these reasons, there was good reason to say, maybe we don't want to do this anymore. But what if it was different? What if we rebooted it in such a way that it would actually go deeper into what it means to be the local church? What if it built into a longer term relationship and that the work that was done one week would be built on year by year between churches? And what if it was focused on being proactive and not just responsible and not discouraging, but rather encouraging? What if we did that? That is really what Church Visitor Reboot is all about. You might ask, why are we doing this? Or perhaps, why are we doing this now? The reality is, as leaders, we could really do with some encouragement this year and really any year. As older churches in the fog of a changing culture, we could do with help to refocus every year. Are we focusing on the right things, Lord? And finally, as we're in the middle of sort of these storms of crisis and if they crash together, wouldn't it be better, wouldn't it be good if we could figure out a way to stand together? So how does it work? How does Church Visitor Reboot work? Well, first of all, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. There's 24 churches in the classes, and it's going to take some time for us to walk through each one of them. Secondly, it's going to require participation, and that we will have leaders who will help to manage this, but every single church will be involved in that they would have a willingness to participate, involved in the process, and also provide one local contact person per congregation. And to do all this, we looked for a tool to help us go deeper. And so our denomination already a number of years ago had created the Healthy Church Executive Survey. And that survey was a way through Calvin University to look at things very simply as the local church and as leaders, and then to give something to process and then something to talk about that goes a little deeper when the church visit actually happened. Each one of these surveys would cost $200 per congregation. So who's involved in this Church Visitor Reboot? Well, it's involving myself, Leslie Van Milligan, and Moses Kang. And like I already mentioned, we will be seeking out one contact person from each congregation. So when's it going to start? Well, in fact, it already has. We've been thinking about this, working on this for a while, and we have 3 churches who have already signed up to help us test and develop Church Visitor Reboot. If you are yourself one of the first 5 churches to sign up, classes will cover your survey fees so that we can get started and learn how is this working and sort of interact with some of the feedback that we get. If you have any questions, you can contact myself at jhbowers@gmail.com. We will give you access to this YouTube video, and just stay tuned for the winter classes when we'll give an update with how things are going. Thank you.